Welcome everyone. We are now at minute 42 of our discussion, and I'm really excited to be here with all of you today. It's great to connect and share this moment. Hi guys.
Today I hope I'll be humbled, because we're going to see Adam Tomek. We're gonna check if having 27 horsepower it's better for an amateur than is Husqvarna FE 450, which has 55 horsepower. A lot more, I'll at least try to prove that you should first learn how to ride and only then switch to a more powerful machine. That probably won't work out in the terrain, at least not compared to the Husqvarna, which will probably have Enduro tires. But there's one advantage, I'll be able to ride them to Minsk. That's about 40 kilometers, right?
More.
More, if you would be so kind.
Good morning.
And it's this particular individual, this very interesting guy, that I am truly hoping to be able to showcase and present to you all today, if everything goes according to plan.
Will it work?
You have to.
There's no other way.
Thanks, Kudush, for the work. Are you satisfied? Now you'll have to hold back on the throttle.
It will... Shall we go? There are a lot of differences between them, because I was talking, but I didn't really say much about the motorcycles. Because this is already a competition enduro, and when it's around over 50 horsepower, it's prepared for long distance rallies. Adam with this. A week ago, Adam, when was Hungary?
Last weekend.
Last weekend he won the rally in Hungary, Baja. Compared to the standards, only the suspension and the fuel tank have been changed. This is also based on a competition motorcycle, on the CRF 450 motocross bike. You can tell by the engine, but it's been significantly toned down because it has 27 horsepower, while the base version has about 55 to 56. Why such a downgrade? Mainly the exhaust system, ignition module and an intake restrictor. Funny thing is, only here do we have such a heavily restricted version available. Heavily, only in Europe. In the US it has 40 horsepower. Why did Honda even create such a motorcycle? I don't know. Today we'll try to answer that question, but I think that's the purpose of this motorcycle. These are more like long distance off-road trips, but without any racing ambitions. Nothing fast or speedy. Just nice, enjoyable rides off-road. We'll see.
You overheated the ride so much that, jokes aside,
It heats up quickly. Look at the size of those radiators. They're small, right? Compared to a regular TRF. The radiators here are about a quarter larger, each one. That already makes a difference, and you can feel this engine heats up quickly.
oh,
It will be a moment of significant discussion and profound articulation, as I am currently engaged in the process of speaking and conveying my thoughts and perspectives on this matter. My intention is to thoroughly communicate the relevant details and ensure a comprehensive understanding of the subject at hand, thereby providing a complete and insightful narrative through my ongoing verbal expression.
the lack of power is just a nuisance, but
Is it fun?
yeah, with 3 people on these, you can have some fun, but against a normal motorcycle, there's no chance, right? I don't know, against speed bikes. No, really, a race to the lake, from the cabin to the lake, that's a different story. But it's cool, for sure. If someone has never ridden before, it's more than enough. You really have to try hard to crush this thing properly.
Here's the straight. Here's the start. Who's first?
Alright, let's consider current situation. We have a time lapse. This precise timing is crucial for our current discussion. Given these figures, the natural question that arises is, what are your predictions, your wagers or your stakes regarding the outcome?
What are
you consider the opinions and financial commitments based on these specific time points? We are looking for detailed insight into what happens and how you are willing to back those beliefs with a bet.
I think that minute 42 on a lap like this, I think I can take on the challenge with this machine.
Even though he was going fast, he didn't beat the time. Minute 42.51. And if you firmly and deliberately push the button labeled number ICE, which is designed for a specific purpose, you will activate the primary extended function. Following 4 seconds, minute 38, the last lap turned out to be the fastest.
7 minutes 49 seconds.
This remains to be seen.
At the 15-minute mark of our current segment, indicating the passage of a quarter of an hour. We'll see what happens next.
Do you think you can do a similar time on a Honda?
I think it's likely. We'll see.
We are now at the 10 minute and 39 second mark, a truly remarkable moment in this event. Specifically, the precise timing recorded is 10 minutes, 39 seconds and 1600ths of a second. This exceptional performance, clocking in at 10 minutes, 39 seconds and 1600ths of a second, represents our absolute best time achieved so far. It is a testament to the dedication and effort put forth, marking a significant milestone in our progress and setting a new benchmark. This particular achievement, reaching 10:39.16, stands at the pinnacle of our current capabilities and is a time we are incredibly proud of, reflecting peak performance and precision. This is truly an astonishing. Absolutely breathtaking. An incredibly impressive and awe-inspiring moment that evokes a profound sense of wonder and amazement. This experience is far beyond anything I could have anticipated, and it's genuinely captivating to observe.
The intricate details and the overall grandeur of this scene are simply magnificent, making it an unforgettable and truly extraordinary event. It's a moment that will undoubtedly be etched into memory for a very long time, given its profound impact and stunning visual appeal. The unexpected nature of this revelation only adds to its profound effect.
Minute 36. Minute 37.
So this is the last chance now.
Last chance. Surprisingly, the first lap was the best. 1 minute 36.65 seconds. The last one, 1 minute 40.60 seconds. On the previous motorcycle, 1 minute 38. That was the best time.
Bravo, Tomek. Any bets?
I don't really know. 140?
Exactly, 136.
And that was the first lap, so if it hadn't stalled on you,
well, you definitely have another second in your pocket just from cutting the corner. But you also cut it once with this one, so let's say it's the same.
And you didn't ride those?
Now he's gonna pretend to be blind, like he didn't see the tire marks.
But no, because they're here and there.
Well, that's because you were riding there from the start, you dummy.
That doesn't change the fact that the time is better.
This is how a bit of professionalism starts creeping into the work.
Risa, better time on this one.
Yeah, that's how it was out.
Roll on something else?
I think it was calmer, more normal on this one. I had more control. You focused more on the enjoyment.
It is absolutely correct. My affirmation is not merely a casual acknowledgement of I understand the implications and the nuances of what has been discussed, and my response reflects a thorough comprehension and acceptance of the facts as they stand. Therefore, I can confidently reiterate my positive confirmation indicating full alignment with the current understanding and direction. This is a definitive yes, signifying absolute certainty and approval regarding the matter at hand, leaving no room for doubt or disagreement. Furthermore, I wish to emphasize the sound depth of my My conviction in this matter is unwavering, and I stand in complete solidarity with the presented viewpoint. The clarity and precision of the arguments are truly compelling, leaving no room for I am highly
It's all over now. 50 horsepower, 27 horsepower biscuit bikes, enduro racing, enduro versus. So Adam, what do you think? Because we measured the times and it turned out that I, a Sunday enduro rider, was 3 seconds faster. A better time on 2, as you say, 2, but there were 3, 2 with a shortcut, whatever. Anyway, I rode faster on the weaker bike than on Adam's rally bike. Adam, how was it for you?
We thought it would be more, but the difference is small.
Yes, I expected it would be about 10 seconds of a difference. So as it turns out, power doesn't matter that much. Or would you have preferred if there was a bit more here?
First of all, the course was very short because it was only a minute long. A powerful bike accelerates faster, but it also jerks more and is harder to control. So it turned out that a smooth ride on the weaker motorcycle was only slightly slower than on the rally bike.
Yeah, because after 3 laps on your motorcycle, I was pretty exhausted. But here, after 3 laps, I still had some energy left. It wasn't that bad. I was riding much more smoothly. The pace was actually better.
The rally bike definitely has this thing, especially for a less experienced rider. If you just open the throttle a little, it immediately goes wherever it wants. And here, you don't have that problem. If you want to get it up to speed, you have to put in a bit of work to get the right revs and shift gears properly. But I think for someone who's a beginner without any ultra skills, it's a really fun toy. So I think it's great sand, deep sand, hills, climbs, descents, and it handled it just fine.
No problem, because we picked out a few climbs and the Honda even managed them quite well too.
Nothing melted on us.
Yeah, we thought that since we wanted to ride a bit faster here, especially after Adam, the exhaust elbow or the guards might melt. We thought everything would melt because there's a lot of plastic around the engine here, but everything stayed in place. Most of these soft enduros made from competition bikes are console like that. Couch-like, the clutch works so poorly and the throttle response is delayed, but here everything works. You can feel the suspension working, the chassis is nice, the throttle response is good. You can feel that it wants to go a bit, but it's being held back by a restrictor in the intake and exhaust. So who do you think this motorcycle is for? Because I already have my own idea about who this motorcycle is meant for, but I'm curious about your opinion.
For whom? Well, if someone wants to ride around casually, as you nicely put it, soft enduro, then I think it's definitely suitable. But for the forest or some kind of trial, well, that's tough. You can practice, but you can definitely try a lot of things, right? Because you can even try out a motocross track, ride around and get there yourself. You can take it on some asphalt, try a trial, or even do a bit of casual riding. So I think that for someone who just wants to ride a motorcycle and isn't set on being, if someone used to ride motocross or hard enduro or something like that and has some kind of vision but just wants to ride in a polite hobbyist way, then it's a really great machine.
Yes, I also see it being used for off-road touring, for example, something like the Trans-European dozens or even hundreds of kilometers off-road depending on the country. That's what the off-road trail in Europe is for.
But you won't be able to do hundreds of kilometers on this since it barely has any fuel.
Well, of course, but that's what gas stations are for. You just have to get off the trail and refuel.
I think all the cool places you'd want to visit with this motorcycle don't have gas stations often enough for you to refuel.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if...
So how much did you ride? You rode once, I rode once, and there was no fuel left.
Yeah, and we came here from Warsaw, so we did maybe about 50 kilometers, and...
So imagine being out in the middle of nowhere, a gas station every 50 kilometers?
It's kind of an endless debate, this whole fuel issue. But I think for light touring somehow, maybe if you install a bigger tank, it could actually work pretty well. So recreational enduro, really nice, and I think that there was kind of a lack of this type of motorcycle on the market because there were recreational two-stroke enduros like the X-Liner or Freelite 250, but there wasn't a lightweight touring enduro, so everyone had to buy something like a 450 or rely on the slowly aging already old DRZs or XRs, which are good, but they're definitely getting on in years. But unfortunately, it costs too much because they're practically the same price. To sum up, for an amateur, power doesn't matter that much as long as you try and ride smoothly. Yeah, it's actually a bit more tiring.
A bit.
Actually, a bit no, a lot. The only complaint I have about the Honda is that it's too expensive. Other than that, it's a pretty cool bike. Thank you, Adam, for the ride. Take care, see you. I also called the Honda dealership because I've always heard rumors that they remove all the limiters and you can almost ride straight out of the showroom. A 50cc no, a 40cc motorcycle, and it's true. Dealers remove the limiters as part of the price, but well, two things. The homologated bike is rated at 27 horsepower and you immediately lose the warranty. So there's a trade-off, but the option is there. It's free of charge, just a little postscript to the matrix. Thank you.